Hello, welcome everybody. I don't know why, but I look bald-headed today. Okay. Hi everybody, how are ya? Welcome to Wednesday with Widget. I got a feeling that we're gonna want to talk about some things today, so we'll see what everybody has going on. Can you guys hear me? Are you there yet? Are you logged on? Hello, everybody. Yes, you guys can hear me. Great. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's been an interesting week. It's been a very busy week, you guys. I don't know why, but it's been a very busy week. It seems like I just can't catch myself. I'm running every day and I just can't catch myself. I don't know why. We have those moments where we just feel like we're being inundated with things. It's my turn. I'm it. Just so everybody knows, I will most definitely be at the AGLA show on Tuesday next week at the Pasadena Fairgrounds. No, it's not the Fairgrounds. Pasadena Convention Center on Green Street, I think. So if you guys are out and about and available on Tuesday, AGLA is doing their trade show. They put on quite the event. It's actually a lot of fun. You get all like-minded people. They have education training seminars. I actually believe I am teaching on the main stage, I want to say at 3, from 3 to 4, I think is when my class is. And we're talking about changes in the industry and how they're affecting us. So should be quite interesting. But yes, hopefully I will see you guys on Tuesday in Pasadena at the trade show. I will be there. I should be in AGLA's booth. I anticipate getting there about 10 or 11-ish. We'll see how it goes, but I will be in AGLA's booth mostly in the afternoon. So come find me, we can talk then. All right. Anybody have anything weird going on? Anything anybody needs to talk about? We got some things in moving pieces, and we still have some municipalities coming up with their own rental moratorium. It's not a moratorium though, it's an ordinance. It's an ordinance, Patty. It's not a moratorium. Moratorium's temporary, these are permanent. So when the COVID protections left, I think the easiest way that I could explain it to you is when COVID left and there were no more protections from the COVID pandemic virus, they took it upon themselves to implement other protections within the cities. So now, if you're not governed by the city of Los Angeles, their rent control rules spread like cancer during the pandemic, affected 144 unincorporated cities within the county. Then we had DCBA step in and take over the county properties. So we have LARSO, DCBA, and now we have LAHD, which is the housing development, LA Housing Department. Regardless, if you own property in the county of Los Angeles and it is a residential dwelling, you're governed by someone. Even if it's a single family residence, exempt from all of the bureaucracy, you're governed by someone. Chances are you're going to have to pay relocation fees per LAHD standards. Also, on another note, might I tell you something else? There's some new trends in the industry. I've been telling you guys about them, how tenants aren't filing an answer. They're waiting until they get the 5-day notice from the sheriff, and then they're running down to the courthouse with their hair on fire saying that they were never served. And that is the basis of them starting over with the case filing. And it's what's happening. It's buying them quite a bit of time. We're now seeing this as a standard practice. It's happening all over the place. So how I look at it now is if you file eviction, one of 3 things is going to happen. Your tenant's going to get scared and move out. Your tenant's going to file an answer and fight you. Your tenant's not going to file an answer. They're going to wait until the sheriff notice, and then they'll file an answer and start the fight. One of those three things will happen if you file an eviction. One of those three things, okay? Either your tenant's gonna start fighting you right away, filing an answer, filing motions, or they may just file one answer, go to court once. Sometimes they only need to hear from the judge one time and that's it, but they still need to hear it. So we're seeing that happen, and quite frankly, it sucks because it's a waste of time, our landlord's time. It's a waste of time, and they're doing it that way, and it sucks, but it's being allowed. It's the new trend, so be prepared for it, is what I could tell you. What is Patty trying to say to you as nicely as she possibly can? Don't sing the happy dance or do the happy dance in your eviction trial until the sheriff is posting that red piece of paper on the door with the no trespass order. That's when you can do the happy dance, okay? Not until then. It's getting too convoluted and too tricky. Yeah. Also, heed my warning and please hear me loudly. If you are doing an eviction in the county of Los Angeles, somewhere after judgment's entered, after the judge has said, no, 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 you're gonna get evicted. It's coming. You gotta get out. Don't be shocked or surprised if you start receiving letters from City of Los Angeles, LARSO, DCBA, LAHD. Should I keep going? Or are you getting the idea? Stating that you're doing an unlawful eviction, a wrongful eviction, an illegal eviction, and you will be fined $10,000 plus $5,000 for each occurrence, blah, blah, blah. The tenant has ran to the city, and the city is going to try to help them by sending you a letter trying to intimidate you. Please remember that a judge in a court of law is hearing how this case is going to go, okay? The city is using intimidation tactics to landlords, okay? I actually want to call a city official today and let them know I'm sorry, this is no wrongful eviction. It was ruled allowed by a judge in a court of law within your county. So the letter you're sending out is quite contradicting. But I know why they're doing it. They're doing it to intimidate the landlord. I mean, when all of a sudden you get a letter from a government official, the city, the municipality, the powers that be, saying that you're doing an illegal eviction, it's not allowed, and you could be fined $10,000, it scares you. It intimidates you. It makes you call me. It's bullshit. Got it? It's what they're doing nowadays. You know, think of it this way. If a little mom and pop goes and files an eviction on their own, okay, and the city and judgment gets entered and the tenant's going to get evicted and they're about to be homeless, they go run to the city, help me, help me, help me. And the city starts sending you, landlord, intimidation letters saying what you're doing is illegal and it's not allowed. I hope and pray that these landlords are not being intimidated by the city's bullshit. How can the city tell you you're doing something illegal and you're going to be fined when a judge in a court of law in the same city or same county ruled against that tenant? You guys paying attention? Does this make sense to you? I don't know that I want to, because here's how the call would go. Hi, this is Patty calling from the law offices of, and I just wanted to touch bases with you. Apparently you sent our client a letter in regards to their eviction that was ruled allowable by a judge in a court of law, but you're telling them they can't do it. Can you explain why I should listen to you instead of the judge in the courtroom? I'd like to know. Can you please stop harassing my client? That's going to be my next statement. It's okay. If you guys get something that's weird, call your legal counsel. Your legal counsel will tell you what to do. But what I'm trying to make you aware of is this is another tactic that's being utilized. I never thought that the city, I had an owner, okay? And I'm pretty sure that this person worked for the tenant advocate group. I'm just saying, because they got a letter every 2 weeks from the city on how they couldn't do their eviction. A judge said they're getting evicted. And the city saying no? Please. Yes, Patty does get frustrated too, okay? It does happen. It is a possibility. And I promise to behave myself on Tuesday if you guys come to Pasadena to see me, okay? I promise not to say anything bad. I'll be a good girl. Oh. What else can I do for you guys? What questions can I answer you? What is bugging you guys today? Because I know there's some stuff going on in your life you want to talk about. Just be careful if you're doing an eviction. The city's going to try to intimidate you. Don't fall for it. I could see a landlord going, oh, I don't want to get fined. I'll dismiss my eviction. Now you're still stuck with your tenant. Now what? Go to the city. They'll help you. No, no, no. Do not contact the city and ask for legal advice either. Remember, they work for your tenant, not for you. People tell me, well, I called Larceau and they said that I wasn't governed by them. So I could go ahead and do a rent increase of 15%. Yeah, but you're in Baldwin Park and your maximum rent increase is 3%. Well, why would they tell me I could raise it 15? Because they're setting you up for failure. They want your money. They want to sue you. Watch who you get your legal advice from. Watch who you get your operational advice from. Make sure it's someone on your side of the fence. The city, the county, the tenant advocate groups, the RSOs, the DCB, they're not on your team, okay? They are your enemy. Patty, I noticed that many cities in LA County are establishing their own rental ordinances. How do I monitor if my city is planning to do it? City of Gardena. So far, City of Gardena hasn't done anything. How do I know this? I lived in Gardena for about 15 years, just saying. New tidbit about Patty you didn't know. Here, I got one for you. I actually went to Morningside High School for a hot minute in downtown Inglewood. Tidbit about Patty you didn't know. Okay, so I don't see that Gardena's doing it, but they may eventually. The mayor of the county of Los Angeles is pressing them to offer additional tenant protections to combat the homelessness. You guys understand one thing, okay, right now. We as landlords are being blamed for the homelessness problem because of all the people we evict. What? Homelessness is getting caravanned into our state because we're a gimme state. It's not our fault they're not paying their bills. It's not our fault they don't want to pay the rent. Okay, not our fault. So Gardena isn't even talking about ordering anything. Claremont voted against it. We're seeing all the municipalities either coming up with something or voting against it. So it's going to be hit or miss moving forward, but they're encouraging cities to come up with their own ordinances regarding this. And their reasoning is to combat the homelessness problem. All these people are homeless because of you and me. What? What? I want to say something and it's bad. And if Val's on here, she'll even encourage it's bad. I don't get it. Are the people that are making the laws actually trying the new illicit drugs that are being released? I mean, marijuana is legal in California. They just made, oh God, what are those things called? Magic mushrooms, the hallucinogenic mushrooms. They just made those legal so that they could do medical studies on them. Seriously, because we need psychedelics? My tenants don't need anything else, okay? We're done. Yeah, they gotta make it, they gotta make it legal so that they can test it. No joke. They make it legal so they can test it. Just saying. And I'm pretty sure that they made all these drugs legal because they go in their little chambers and they get high on these drugs, and then they come up with this bureaucracy and bullshit and this rent control and these things that aren't needed. And that's just my own personal opinion. I think the lawmakers made drugs legal so they could utilize them and then plan our future. Sorry. I'll be quiet now. Keep my personal opinion to myself. Thank you. Yes, Hilda, yes. They all want us to be zombies and they don't care what evil they are doing. You guys are all spot on. That's why we all love each other and get along so well. We're very like-minded. I mean, God forbid if Gavin Newsom actually owned a rental house. I think he should. I think he should own a rental in the city of LA, maybe a fourplex right there in the city of LA, so that he can understand what it's like to have municipalities against you. And it's ludicrous. For what purpose? Because there are more of them than they are of us? That's bullshit. I have an idea. Why don't we move all the homeless people to his winery? I mean, what a waste of land value here in California. Sorry. They could pitch up tents in his vineyards. It's not a bad idea. I won't be buying wine from his vineyard. Okay, sorry, you guys, somebody's trying to call me. I had to tell them not right now. And he wants to run the entire country. Yes, he's gonna try to implement national rent control. And I wouldn't be shocked if he makes it into office. And no, I'm not voting for him. I can't stand the fool. But he was bred into it. He's a lifer like Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Groomed. There you go. I'm like a lifer. I don't know what you call him. He's a third striker. He's in here for life. We're screwed. Sorry. Groomed. Yes, that is the word I needed. Anybody have anything that they want to talk about? I need to talk to you guys about something. So listen up and please pay attention. We are seeing an increase of mold cases. We usually don't have like a whole problem with mold, but it's California. Come on. We're seeing it because of all the atmospheric rivers and those torrential downpours that we had. I mean, we got inundated. Well, somebody told me that we're looking on having an El Nino summer, so it's going to be very wet, and then we're looking at an El Nino winter coming behind it. With that being said, please watch for mold in your residential dwellings. Make sure your tenants are utilizing proper use of ventilation and proper use of housekeeping. But I have a feeling that we are going to have a mold season this summer. And that's just by what I'm seeing. You know, everybody cries mold as soon as they can because they think there's money in it for them. I'm telling you, we're seeing a lot more of it. I'm seeing a lot more mold cases come through. We have a lot more microbial growth in California, folks. So pay attention to it, be aware of it. Mention it to your tenants that with a lot more moisture in the air, it is a perfect playing field for microbial growth. We want to make sure that we're not doing that in our houses. No science experiments, okay? And if there's mushrooms growing out of the wall, I don't suggest you eat them. Those are not the psychedelic kind. Sorry, I had a contractor once that told me, oh, I ate one of those ribbon mushrooms growing out. Sell them to Newsom. I'll give them away. Put them in his wine. Sorry. I gotta be cool. That's Patty refocusing. I am human, you know, I do have thoughts and emotions too. Can you or our Widget group recommend a probate attorney in Riverside County? Anybody know a probate attorney in Riverside County? I can find you one, no problem. But right off the top of my head, no. The probate attorney I'm aware of is out of the high desert in the high desert. But I know there's another one here, Hilda, that contacts us if they need an eviction. And I want to say they're in that area. So contact me, text me later, and I'll get you that info. Okay. If nobody here has a recommendation for a probate attorney in Riverside. Nothing? Okay. Anybody else have anything for me? Anything weird going on? Yeah, just text me, girl. I'll get it from you. I'm pretty sure Mac has one. Anybody have anything else? Okay, I will be back on Wednesday, but Patty's kind of set herself up for an interesting weekend. Yeah. So I'll be at AGLA on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, we'll be back live on Wednesday with Widget. So I will be here if you need me. Okay. Does it appear that AB 12 security deposit? Yep, it sure does. Lee, I'm watching it, and it passed the Judiciary Committee. It was on the House of Assembly floor. It is going to limit the amount of money we can collect as a security deposit in the state of California. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me again. AB, is it 12 or 14? I always forget. AB 12, thank you. You guys. AB 12 is most likely going to pass. Just so you guys know what that is, it is limiting the amount of money we can collect as a security deposit throughout the state. As current law reads right now, if they are active duty military, you can only collect a maximum of 1 month's rent as a security deposit. On a fully furnished unit, you can take 3 times the amount of the rent. And on a vacant unit, you can take up to 2 times the amount of the rent as a security deposit. If this assembly bill passes and it's headed that direction, you will not be told that it's going to pass. You will be told it's effective immediately. So what it does is it limits the amount that we can collect in a security deposit. And this new bill changes it comparable to 1 month's rent and not a dime more. 1 month's rent. So here's my theory. If you're renting properties right now, fill up your buckets while the grunion are running, because they're not going to run forever. In the event it passes, and I'm just going to throw out a date, September 1st. We'll hear about it on August 31st, that it's taking effect the very next day. We won't be giving any advanced warning. You understand? I am giving you advance warning right now. Go fill up your buckets. This is most likely going to pass, okay? When it does, we will be told it has passed and it'll be law already. We won't be able to do anything about it. Tenants that have just paid you double the rent as a security deposit are gonna want half their security deposit back. Tell them we don't allocate deposits until the unit's vacant. Got it? We do not allocate security deposits until the unit is vacant. But it's illegal to collect. It wasn't illegal at the time it was collected. Okay, so there's your verbiage for all those little things that are gonna come up. Okay, let me see what else you guys got going on here, because you guys are talking. You sent me an email. Thanks for all your help. Oh, thank you. You guys are awesome. I have a tenant in a duplex complaining of an eye infection. We sent our worker there who indeed saw dust coming out of the evaporative cooler vents. We're going to replace the entire ducts in both units. I hope I'm not responsible for his eye infection. Val, you're not responsible for his eye infection because they can't determine where the eye infection came from. Guy got pink eye and didn't wash his hands after he went to the bathroom. Just saying, don't feed too much into that. And rather than replace your ducts, you may want to see if you can just have them cleaned. Okay, just talking out loud. Try Paul Horn. Not sure if he does Riverside, but he knows his stuff. He teaches realtors. Awesome. Yes. So for the AB 12, just serve a 30-day notice to change the terms to increase the deposit. You have the idea. Oh, you cleaned it twice? Yeah, you might have to change them. It's an evaporative cooler. Those things do nothing but blow out dust. They collect dust. That's why they run off of water. They're full of dust and dirt. I don't know that I'd replace my vents. If there's a hole in the duct, oh, they may be disintegrating. I go with that. I go with that before I went with, yeah, I got you. I hear you, Val. I had that happen once in a commercial space, and it was nasty, because they just started disintegrating over time. Huh. In a hot environment, heated environment. What I'm talking about happened in Barstow. Very hot there. So we might be thinking the same way, you know? Hey, you never know. Anybody have anything they want to talk about that's pressing them? Here we go. Got it. The 30-day change of notice to increase the deposit. What is the time limit the tenant has to pay the increased amount? I usually give them a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy, and that would give them 30 days. In Larso, can you do a 30-day change of terms of tenancy for the security deposit? And how much more can you add up to 2 times? You guys listen to me and hear me out, okay? You guys all want to raise your security deposits here, and now I'm going to tell you how you do it. If you are governed by any municipality on maximum rent increases, and listen to me, example, City of LA, City of Pasadena, City of Pomona, City of Long Beach. Should I keep going? You get the idea? City of Inglewood, They all have their own little rent control stuff. So if you aren't in one of those, that doesn't limit what you can and can't charge for, you would do a 30-day notice to change the terms of tenancy, but hear me out. It's like doing a rent increase. So if you're limited on how much you can increase rent, example, I can only do 3% in the city of Baldwin Park, then I can only increase my deposit by 3%. If I can only do a 10% rent increase, I can only do a 10% deposit increase. Paying attention? If you are limited on what you can do as a rent increase, example, I can only raise the rent by 2%, then you can only increase the deposit by 2%. Okay, got it? Yes, absolutely. Unmute you. So if I serve it today on May 17th, the tenant has to pay by June 17th. The increase in the deposit, yes. So it's
Patty?
a third, the change of terms of tenancy for a deposit increase, and you have to only do it by whatever you're limited of raising the rent is what you're limited on raising the deposit. So if you can raise your rent 10%, you can raise your deposit 10%. Is that clicking? Does that make sense? But you guys really need to watch those municipalities like Pomona and those cities.
But Patty, if you have,
Doesn't
if you,
have it.
Welcome to Arby's. Please order when you're ready. Hello?
However, anything above 5%, you have to go through rent mediation. Does this mean I can only raise the deposit by 5% only? Yes. Bingo, you got it. If you can only raise the rent by so much, you can only raise the deposit by that much too. So if your deposit $400 and you can do a 10% increase, you're only raising it by $40. That's it. Got it?
so Patty, then it doesn't ever work out that your security deposit is like a month's rent.
It does if you ask for 2 months rent and it's at inception. I ask for a month and a half at inception. That's my go-to business practice. Security deposit is a month and a half rent. And then if they have pets or something I want to charge a deposit for, I can.
Yeah, on your
I got
for
you.
$7.
Let me figure it out.
Would that include a roast turkey sandwich, like number 4?
I fixed it. I get so proud of me when I do something like that. I fixed it. Sorry.
So, okay, so if you've asked for 2 months rent up front, then you can't ever do, and you increase the rent, you can't increase the security deposit ever
Why?
because it's the maximum.
Hold
that
on.
you can-
If you increase the rent by 10%, then the rent is higher. You can increase the deposit to 2 times, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So here's Patty talking to you, and you need to be cautious with what you're doing. And
Mhm.
here, if you're trying to raise your deposit, and let me give an example. Let's say your deposit is $2,500, okay? And
Mhm.
your maximum that you can ask for is only $3,000 because your rent's $1,500, okay?
Mhm.
And you can do a rent increase of 10%. On 2,500, that's $250.
250. Mhm.
Bingo. You want to make sure that you're not increasing over double. So here's Patty's secret. Every time I raise the rent, I raise the deposit too.
Yeah, I do that too, but I do the same amount.
That's where your issue.
Yeah, now I understand. Yeah. I
Yes.
was raising whatever they raised. I raised it for that
There's
next month.
things. One's a deposit, one's rent. One can be raised by 10%. The other can be raised by 10%. If you're raising a $1,500 rent by 10%, it's $150.
150. right.
If you're raising a $2,500 deposit by 10%, that's $250. So they work differently. Okay.
I see. Okay.
Ah, okay. Now we're on the same page, reading the same book, and you understand how it works, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Somebody else is confused. Let's see why. Okay, if you are wanting to raise your deposit and you are limited at 5% and your deposit is $500, you can only raise 5% of $500. This has nothing to do with your rent, except you're pulling out how much of an increase you can do. If you can do 8.6%, then you can do 8.6% of the deposit amount. You can raise the rent 10%, you can raise the deposit 10%. They will be different amounts. I hope that makes sense. But I always raise the deposit when I'm raising the rent. And remember, your percentages is what picks that. Oh, and if you guys don't want to raise the rent, and I'll give you an example, the market's kind of doing a downhill slide. It's not real fast, but you know, it's not creeping up this way anymore. So I really don't want to raise my rent. I want to keep my tenant there. I really like them. I raise their rent anyway. I raise it by 25 bucks. I raise it by 25 bucks, even if I don't want to raise the rent. There's a reason. Okay. You want to stay in the position of power. By you raising the rent and setting the rules, you stay in power. When you stop doing that, the tenant starts getting to feel like they have more power than you do. And then they start controlling things. And then they start telling you how this relationship's going to go. And you're already in trouble. Okay. You need to stay the person in control. So even if you don't want to raise the rent, it's a great business practice to remind them that you are the landlord and you are the one holding the ball, not them, by increasing the rent. It's a friendly little way to say, I'm still in control here. Don't forget it. And come on, you guys, it's 25 bucks. It's nothing. Well, in today's market, 25 bucks is nothing. But I always raise the rent every opportunity I get. And try to raise the deposit when I raise the rent. And don't be shocked, you guys, I've been talking about it, as the market continues to go stagnant, we're going to see some very interesting changes come about. We're going to start seeing move-in incentives. If the people are smart, they won't lower the rent to get them in there. They'll lower the deposit. They'll lower the screening fees. They'll waive other things, but they'll leave that base rent where it is. We'll see how that plays out as the market goes, because we know it's going that way. So if my rent is originally $2,600 and I just raised it to $2,730, the security deposit I collected on move-in was $3,500. So I can raise my deposit $175 because of the 5% rent increase. You got it. You got it. It's clicking. You got it. And the reason that we talk about raising security deposits is, look at this. You have somebody that moved into a house 17 years ago. Their deposit's $400 because that was what we asked for 17 years ago. Now, what do you do with that 400 bucks? Raise it by 10% every opportunity you have. And if you're governed by a municipality that doesn't allow that 10%, ouch. That's why we tell you raise the rent, raise the deposit. If you raise the rent, raise the deposit, because that's how people get to having $600 rent 17 years later, or $800 rent 17 years later, and only a $400 deposit, is they never increase the deposit when they raise the rent. I sent a couple of emails regarding an applicant from Mexico. I can't do his background and credit score screening. I'm not sure if he's one of the cartel members. Could you please advise on it? Well, It depends on what your criteria is. If they have to provide a government issued ID, then he would have a government issue ID. I know, Val, hang on. He would have a government issued ID from Mexico or from INS or from something, okay? He also would have to have a TIN number. How is he supposed to work in this country if he doesn't have a TIN number? Because if he doesn't have a TIN number, he's not paying taxes. Run. I'm big on paying taxes, you guys. I'm a big one. Verified income equals, nope. I like that, Val. Verifiable income is required. But seriously, if he doesn't have a TIN number, he's not paying taxes. Not on any income he makes, not on anything he does. And that doesn't work with me because I have to pay taxes and you have to pay taxes. So if you want to live here, you got to pay taxes too. I'm not paying for you. I think that immigrants should have to pay our taxes because we've been here our whole lives and they're new here. Oh, there's a concept. I just came up with that. Sorry. Sorry. If we're going to allow you to live in our country, you're going to have to take over taxes for somebody that's lived here their whole life and paid them. Oh, they're going to get a break now because you're here. Oh, it's not going to happen. It would be nice, but it's not going to happen. He does not fit your criteria. Verified income. See my question above. Okay, Val, I will. I heard that many lease contract verbiages such as car will be changing the term landlord to housing provider, etc. Why not just informally adopt the terms of lessor and lessee for both residential and commercial? Actually, it is in most residential contracts of lessee and lessor. Not just in commercial, it is in a lot of residential. It's actually in CAAs because they use the correct verbiage. And in all reality, that is the legal term, is lessor and lessee. So we should just be using those terms. There's no reason for them to change it. It's ludicrous. It's all on the cancel culture bullshit of they're offended by Dr. Seuss. And I think that's the problem with this generation is they cut out Dr. Seuss. We all read Dr. Seuss and we're okay. We're not Looney Tunes. We don't want everything for free. We're not the gimme gimmies. They took away Dr. Seuss and now these people lost their damn minds. I think we need to bring Dr. Seuss back. Just saying. Sorry. I did my rent increase in late April, giving a 30-day notice. I did my due diligence and my attorney said I cannot do an increase on the deposit in my area. Unincorporated LA County under rent control with the DCBA. Thank you, Tony. Remember I said you guys need to check with your municipalities because some of them won't allow it. You can only do the rent increase. Tony told us DCBA only will allow a rent increase, no deposit increase. Thank you, Tony. You're my hero. So some you can, some you can't. It's that devil's cauldron, man. That devil's cauldron. That's what I call LA County because it's so corrupted. Patty, which AGLA form to use for it's a 30-day notice to change of terms of tenancy. No, you're changing the terms of tenancy and you're handwriting in that you're changing the deposit amount. Yes, and only a 3% rent increase, Tony. Yeah, and you guys know that the city of Inglewood adopted the city of Los Angeles's rent control ordinance, and now they have a whole department that oversees it. You actually have to register your units just like with the RSO in the city of Inglewood. And they don't allow a tenancy at will. It is not allowed to terminate tenancy. So if you live in Inglewood, don't let any family members move in with you, and don't have a relationship gone wrong, because you'll never be able to get them out of your own freaking house. Inglewood, yeah, not a place for rental property. I know why. I know why. You guys want to know the why? I know the why. You guys want to know why? Because I could tell you why. Inglewood has become a haven for tenants in the city because they have Raytheon and Virgin Skies and all of the, oh God, why can't I think of Rockwell International and all of the satellite they actually encourage tenants and pay them to relocate when they want to come work for them. They give them a housing allowance. A lot of that happens right in the city of Inglewood and the city of Hawthorne, because that's where all that's going on. That's why they put Inglewood with such strict rent control laws, was because of supply and demand. A lot of the housing for the employment of the aerospace industry is in that neighborhood. That's what I'm trying to say. Heavy concentration of tenants comes with heavy restrictions for landlords. Inglewood has become very popular for rentals with the aerospace industry because it's so close to home. I mean, if you think about it, look, you got Hawthorne Airport right there where you got Virgin Air going on, right? That's right there. And then they also build those rocket launchers that are going into space. What is that called? I can't remember it. It's also Virgin, but it's part of the space program. You know, you could pay a couple $100,000 and go into space and the Virgin thing. And yeah, that's in Hawthorne, right there at the Hawthorne Airport. Okay. It's where they build those things. So keep that in mind. Business is good for everyone, just not the case in California. Actually, it's great, just not for land. SpaceX, thank you, Allie. My cranky vet did not pay his security increase. He paid the rent, not the increase. It would be a 3-day. You're right, Val, and try to scare him. Yes, SpaceX is built right there in Hawthorne, at the Hawthorne Airport, right there. SpaceX. Thank you for helping me remember. But there's a lot of aerospace industry tenants that are housed in that area, is why the heavy tenant protections. I mean, look at it this way. It's right at the end of LAX airport. It's Rockwell International's right there. They have all of the aerospace industries, Hughes, I can't remember the name, Boeing, okay? They all got to live somewhere. So bam, that's in Inglewood. So guess what? Inglewood gets all those protections. Don't be shocked if we see that trickle off into Hawthorne. No joke. All right, you guys, if nobody else has anything, I'm going to end this for today. I got to get over and teach at the sheriff's department this afternoon. Patty, is there restrictions on how many times you can raise the security deposit? Once annually? Don't do anything more than that. I put in 10 years with TRW, now Grumman, Northrop, and Redondo. Yeah, see? Okay, awesome. My dad did 40 years at Northrop, all of that. Inglewood, Artesia Boulevard, aviation, there's the world that's going on. But yes, they do a lot of it there. All right, you guys, I'm off to the sheriff's department to teach them crime-free. So if you guys are going to the sheriff's department crime-free, you're probably already there. I'm on my way. I will see you shortly. Have a great week. Wish me luck. I'm going deep sea fishing this weekend, so hopefully we get some good fish. Yeah, you never know. I'm going fishing this weekend, so we'll see what happens. Thank you. Yes, call me after 6. It's a much better time for me. I am going to teach at the sheriff's office now. You guys have a great week. If you need me, hunt me down. I hope I catch several big ones. I'm going on an overnight boat all by myself, so we'll see. Should be interesting. I always come back with a story. I may come back with fish too, but I always have a story. All right, you guys have a great week. I always bring my own sheets and my own pillowcase and my own blanket because that's just gross. All right, you guys. Bye, everybody. Have a great week. I'm here if you need me. I'm going to turn this off. I promise. I'm trying.